People friggin' hate this, including myself, okay? Fabrice the Artist here, back with another video, and in today's video we're gonna go over 7 tips to help grow your Instagram following as an artist. The first tip is to show people that you're committed to improving in your skills as an artist. I can't tell you how many people ask me how they can grow their Instagram following as an artist. And without coming off the wrong way here, you know, if you look back 2, 3, 4, 5 years back on their artwork, there may or may not be a whole lot of improvement going on. So, I mean, people follow you largely to watch your journey and to watch you get better. If you're showing no improvement year after year, you're not very inspiring, to be honest. And you're not really giving people a very strong incentive to want to follow you. Okay, so that's tip number 1. Demonstrate your commitment to improving by actually improving. Tip number 2, post regularly. Okay, now you hear a lot of people say you have to post every day or 5 times a day, and as an artist I don't agree that this is necessary. I think certainly a once a day posting schedule is more than enough. But if you want to be able to post more often as an artist, it might be a good idea to post lots of progress pictures. The way that you get more progress pictures is to actually draw more often, get your hours up. If you're drawing a few hours a week, it's going to take weeks before you have enough progress completed to justify posting another progress picture. But if you're drawing, you know, multiple hours per day, you might be able to justify posting a nice progress picture from a nice unique angle after a couple days, or maybe every single day, but that might be pushing it. And the reason for this being so important is because every time you post, you give your post an opportunity to show up in the Explore page feed, which is going to allow more people to reach your content. If you post once every week or once a month, then really the algorithm has got no way of really picking up your content. You got no way of catching steam. There's going to be no momentum behind your posts. Also, if you're posting reels, this is a really good way to show up and get way more engagement. Think about that. That's way more people that are getting a chance to see your work, especially if you're doing it often. And again, that's way more people that are potentially going to follow you. So the more you do this, the more opportunity you give your page to be seen by as many different people on the platform as possible. Tip number 3 is take good pictures of your art. One of the most important things on Instagram is going to be displaying your work in a aesthetic and unique way. It's got to be captivating, and it's got to be at least not taken by a camera that looks like it's a potato. You don't need a super expensive camera. If you're using a phone camera that is less than like 3 years old, you know, it's unlikely that your phone isn't going to be good enough to take really good pictures of your art. All the pictures that you can see on my Instagram feed are all taken by this camera right here, which is a Samsung Galaxy S10. That's a couple years old phone, and as you can see, it's taken pretty decent pictures. If you have good pictures, that's definitely a good starting point, but sometimes the picture is not going to capture the values and the brightness and the darkness and the shadows, the tint or the hues as effectively as what you were hoping for. A lot of the time, if you take a picture, it's got a little bit of like a green hue to it, or it's got too warm of an effect, or too cool of an effect, or any other number of things. And if you're posting these unedited pictures oftentimes to your feed on Instagram, you're going to end up with a feed that's very inconsistent. You know, you're going to have like a greenish picture over here, you're going to have like a really warm brownish, reddish type of picture over here, which can be okay, but you're not showing a lot of consistency on your page. It's not as aesthetically appealing. It doesn't really look like you're organized in your posting. And I guess it just doesn't really come off as professional, I guess, as it could. Tip number 4 is to have some visual consistency to your page and your feed. This is important because if you're talking about too many different topics, or your page doesn't really seem to have any general theme, if they don't know what to expect from you and they don't really know what you're about, they're very unlikely to follow you. And in today's age, like there's so many different pages out there that why would they follow your page if there's so many other pages out there that might focus on 1 or 2 or 3 just very niche things that they're very good at, and you're here posting a nice drawing with very poor lighting, completely unedited, and then a couple days later you're posting a random picture of your dog, and then you're posting a selfie in the mirror. There's no consistency there, okay? You want to create an overall general theme to your page so that people know what to expect. In my page, for example, people can expect to see hyper-realism drawings. You can expect to see lots of progress pictures. You can expect to see clips of my tutorials. You can expect to see short process videos of me working on a certain part. And you can expect to see final scanned images of my completed drawings. But there's everything in between. People know what to expect. That's what I do. But you guys have to find your own niche that you guys can dive into. So basically, in terms of visual consistency, what I'm trying to say is that you want to narrow your scope just a little bit and focus on a few key things that you're really good at, and then really dive into those things so that when people come across your page, they know, okay, this is what this person is about. I love this thing. And no matter how niche any of the things that you're doing are, there's going to be millions of people out there who that's their favorite thing in the world. So nothing is really too niche, but just focus on that thing. Ideally, you don't want to have things that are completely unrelated to each other. You have a Bitcoin page that's also a drawing page. That just doesn't really make sense. It's just nothing to do with each other. It should have some consistency to it. So, and tip number 5 is a little bit vague. However, it's pretty important, and that's to give people a reason to follow you in the first place. For instance, if your page doesn't really provide any value to the potential follower, why would they want to follow you? Let alone, why would tens of thousands or more people want to follow your page? Value can come in many different forms. Maybe you're teaching some of your techniques. Maybe you have really legitimately cool art that speaks to a lot of people, that tons of people think is super cool, or maybe they're impressed by your art, or maybe your skill level is such that you're inspiring other people to get better. Maybe you're taking pictures of your art or providing content in such a way that is unique to you, and this is inspiring other people as well, so they want to follow you to get ideas from you. So value can come in all kinds of different ways. But just think, if you were someone else, would you follow your art page if you didn't know yourself? If you wouldn't, then you got to think, what kind of value can I add to my page that would justify someone wanting to follow me? And just think about all the art pages that you follow. Why do you follow them? What about their page makes it that you don't want to miss out on what they're going to post? They're providing you with some sort of value that you don't want to miss out on, hence why you follow them. Just think, there are God knows how many artists on Instagram. The average person might only follow a few hundred people, maybe 1,000 people, maybe. So why would you be one of those couple hundred people that someone wants to follow? People are pretty selective with who they want to follow. Most people are just following their friends and stuff. So you really have to kind of set yourself apart and provide some sort of value to that potential follower for them not to want to miss out on your future posts. And tip number 6 is do not message people asking them to follow you. People friggin' hate this, including myself, okay? If you have to ask someone to follow you, like, would you really want however many followers you have if they begrudgingly followed you just because you asked them to? Or would you want to have 10, 20, 50,000 followers that had to follow you because they didn't want to miss your next post, not because you asked them to? I strongly advise against ever asking anyone to follow you. It's really, really annoying. It comes off needy, comes off really desperate, and to be honest, anytime someone has asked me to follow them, the effect that it actually had was ironically guaranteeing that I would never follow that person. So in essence, asking someone to follow you can in some ways lower your followers, because people are going to be turned off by you. They won't want to follow you. Maybe they would have followed you if they would have stumbled across your page organically, but because you asked them to. They're not going to follow you just out of spite because you're being annoying and needy and desperate. Post amazing content consistently on a regular basis and don't quit for long enough, and people will stumble across your art and they will follow you on their own accord without you having to ask them. And guess what? If they followed you based on their own accord, then that's going to be a much more valuable follower and going to be engaging with your content way more than someone that you beg to follow you. Okay, so very important one, very easy to implement, you just don't do it. And tip number 7 is don't pay too much attention to the whole Instagram algorithm BS. There's only so much that you can control when it comes to that. If you follow these other steps, you're posting good content on a regular basis, you're showing improvement, and you don't quit, and you do that for long enough, you know, the algorithm is going to be friendly to you in some way or another, for lack of a better way to phrase that. But stressing about the algorithm, I can't tell you how many people, you know, are just stressing with anxiety, or why didn't this get as much likes, or am I shadow banned on this, or like I gotta delete this post because it doesn't have enough likes. Like, just you're gonna stress yourself out. I mean, I've been there, you know, but I've come to realize that half the time it's just chance. Sometimes you get lucky and a post gets steam on the algorithm, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes your best post will do average, and it is what it is. Don't stress about it, okay? So that's not really a tip on how to grow your page, but it is a tip on how to keep your mental health in check while growing your Instagram following. Okay, so anyway, I hope you guys learned a thing or two and enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit like, rate, comment, share with your friends. And if you want to learn from me in greater detail, be sure to visit me on Patreon at Fabrice the Artist. If you want to own a signed print of any of the drawings you can see on any of my social media, be sure to visit my Etsy shop at Fabrice the Artist as well. Follow me on Instagram at Fabrice the Artist, and I will see you guys in that next video. Peace.